My fiancé has disappeared on our wedding day. How can I ease my anxiety? I, 28F, am getting married today to my fiancé, 30M. We're signing the legal documents today with the ceremony set for Saturday. I haven't slept in 24 hours due to intense anxiety. For context, we were together and living together for about 3 years before being long distance for a year and a half. I'm back in the country for a week to visit him, see family, and have our wedding. Over the past month, he has been ghosting me, sometimes for weeks at a time. I know he's going through a mental health crisis, but despite my efforts to convey how much his actions are hurting me and straining our communication, he hasn't been able to change. When he faces tough times, he shuts down completely, especially towards me. It pains me deeply that he doesn't trust or respect me enough to share his struggles, despite calling me his best friend and future wife. I had hoped that my return and our upcoming marriage would break his ghosting habit, but it hasn't. Yesterday, he had a crucial work meeting that would determine if he got a raise or lost his job, and now he's completely unresponsive. He's ignoring my calls and texts, which have read receipts, so I know it's intentional. It's the morning of our document signing, and we are supposed to finalize our marriage in a few hours. Yet, I stayed up all night, plagued by anxiety, fearing that he doesn't truly want this and is just going through the motions to appease me, despite it being a mutual decision. I still can't reach him. I try to communicate everything with him, but this situation hurts me profoundly. Part of me wants to go to his apartment, bang on his door, and demand answers about how he can treat someone he claims to love this way. However, I know he'd just shut down further, apologize, and sink deeper into guilt and depression. I need to find a way to support him through his mental health crisis while firmly addressing that his behavior is incredibly disrespectful and harmful, which is absolutely unacceptable to me. When we were about to start our long-distance relationship, he begged me to give it a try, despite my concerns about his communication issues. He promised he would change, and while he did improve, this past month has shown me that I'm about to marry someone who doesn't see any issue with ghosting his spouse for weeks at a time. This situation is causing me severe anxiety, and I don't know what to do. Any advice on how to calm my anxiety or support him through his depressive episode would be greatly appreciated. I've tried for years to get him to see a therapist or consider medication, but he refuses. There's virtually no chance he'll take this advice from me or anyone in my family, and bringing it up only causes him to shut down more. It's incredibly frustrating and not an option I can discuss with him anymore. I will not tolerate or respond to accusations of him cheating or suggestions to call off the wedding. He is loyal but has significant mental health issues, and I will marry him regardless of what anyone says online. I just need advice. Edit. I won't be reading anything anymore, so please stop messaging me. If you see a woman who is genuinely struggling and has no one else to turn to for advice other than random people on the internet, and your response is to ridicule her and call her an idiot, then congratulations. My last attempt at seeking help has failed. Clearly, I had no one else to go to, and it's my wedding day, and I'm on Reddit. I don't know why I expected anything other than hate messages and ridicule. Maybe there isn't some magic way to help him through this period of grief, but I didn't think I deserved to be bombarded with cruel messages so quickly. To those who messaged me, calling me stupid, idiotic, a doormat, and saying I deserve whatever unhappy life awaits me, you've won. Relevant comments. Commenter. He's been ghosting you for the last month, and you thought marriage would fix this? You don't want anyone here to tell you not to marry him, even though that seems like the most logical and sensible decision. You've created your own misery and are determined to continue down this path. So what do you want from us? We can't make him stop ghosting you, and we can't make you feel better about a decision you know is incredibly unwise. You have a man with mental health problems who refuses to seek help, causing severe relationship issues, and you're willingly committing to legally align yourself with him and these problems for life. When you have kids and he ghosts you, what are you going to do then? I hope you get what you deserve from this situation, whatever that may be. This marriage has been planned for much longer than just the last month. It wasn't a solution I created on my own. It hasn't been total no contact for the whole month. It's more like a week of no contact before he comes back and apologizes, citing unavoidable life events. Then we have a week of contact before another week of no contact due to something else coming up. We spent the whole day together 3 days ago, but because of his meeting yesterday, it has now been a day and a half of silence again. To answer your question about what I'd like, I was searching for compassion and actual helpful advice, not judgment and malice. May 2nd, 2024. My life was great. My relationship was great. Until yesterday when it suddenly wasn't. The last month felt a bit off, but I didn't think it would lead to this. I still love him intensely, and he still loves me intensely. He wants to stay with me, but he says he can't handle marriage because he can't separate it from the trauma he experienced in his childhood, related to cult stuff. My mom says I'll be a pathetic loser if I stay with him regardless, and that he'll never be a part of the family. But I want to stay with him anyway. However, I don't know if I can live with the constant fear, anxiety, and insecurities that come from being with someone who might leave whenever he feels like it. My wedding is on Saturday, and my family still wants to have it since it's more of a small family gathering anyway. His family wasn't invited due to cult issues. My life as I know it feels completely over. I don't know what to do. The person I turned to for empathy and compassion ended up screaming at me that I'm an idiot. I'm only in the country for my wedding. I live abroad. My new job and my fiancé pressured me and reassured me to use my new married name professionally. I'm a teacher, and all my students already know me by his name. Everything sucks, and I can't stop sobbing. Edit. To clarify, he left me while we were about to sign the marriage certificate. It's symbolically like being left at the altar, even though there was never going to be an actual altar. Update. I told my mom that the way she phrased her advice and opinion was cruel. She responded that she's tired of my drama and doesn't need it at her age. I had already acknowledged that she was right in what she said, but emphasized that the way she said it was hurtful. She then said she no longer cares about maintaining a relationship with me, and that it isn't worth the drama for her anymore. I apologized because she's right. I never realized how much this situation hurt and humiliated her too. I wanted this to be a nice party with friends, just to spend time together. I'm going to try my best to keep my negativity inside so it doesn't spoil the mood, hoping we can still salvage it as a good party. But I think once I return abroad, this might be the last time my mom will ever speak to me. I don't know how I could repay her for all she spent on this wedding, but hopefully removing myself from her life will make it more peaceful and less stressful for her, even if it destroys me. As for him, thank you all so much for your kindness, advice, and perspectives. It truly makes me feel better to read the comments, even if they hurt and I deserve it. We will be discussing everything in person tomorrow, and I've scheduled an emergency therapy appointment for myself tomorrow morning. I've never done therapy before, and I'm scared, but I know it's what I need. I'm so angry at him for ruining my entire life that I don't know if the love I have can salvage this. Relevant comments. Commenter. No, hun. You can't be with someone who cannot effectively communicate their fears and needs and instead chooses to run. He failed you, and he does not get to treat you like that. You deserve better. Your mom may have let her anger cause her to word things poorly, but she is right. He does not get to have his cake and eat it too. Go back home and go no contact with him. Finish out your teaching contract as it is. Then, I recommend finding a teaching job in a dream location. Maybe be a traveling teacher for a few years. Heal, live fully, and if you wish, find love again. Oop, I am already a traveling teacher. I'm home just for the week for my wedding. Next week, I return to where I live abroad, facing a life of isolation and loneliness. Commenter. Please elaborate on cult stuff that could literally be anything. OOP. He's witnessed marriage being used as a tool to entrap and oppress women within the cult culture of his family. However, he fails to grasp that his actions have established a skewed power dynamic, where he holds all the power and autonomy, leaving me feeling scared and anxiety-ridden, constantly fearing his departure at any moment in our uncertain future. In my opinion, this situation is even worse than the one he perceives. Commenter. I have so many questions swirling in my mind, but the foremost one is this. Why did he agree to marry you in the first place? How did you end up using a name that wasn't yours for so long that even your students know you by that name? Haven't you had discussions with him prior to this? Was this relationship one-sided? Oop, he was the one who proposed to me. Regarding my job, they instructed me to start using his name because the school year commenced in April, and I would officially change my name in May. Initially, I declined, feeling like it might jinx things. However, when I called him, he told me to stop overthinking and just use his name. We discussed it, and he reassured me. It's been 3 weeks now, and my students already know me by that name. To be honest, yes, it does feel one-sided, but not in the way you're implying. Update. Following a deeply humiliating experience, I found myself reflecting on the myriad shortcomings of our relationship. His consistent gaslighting whenever I confronted him about the disparity between his words and actions, claiming to respect and care for me, prompted a serious conversation. I challenged him to articulate his understanding of love, respect, care, and trust, only to find his definitions twisted and unhealthy. Though he momentarily acknowledged his fault, his selfish behavior persisted throughout the discussion. It was astonishing how, despite years of attempting to convey my feelings, he only grasped the magnitude of his mistreatment when faced with it plainly. His audacity to suggest we should have had this conversation earlier, as he belatedly realized his demeaning behavior, left me incensed. I had been endeavoring to communicate these issues for years, hindered by his lack of respect and my own emotional struggles. Despite his proposal for marriage counseling with the aim of eventual marriage, I opted to end the relationship, citing an irreparable power dynamic. Though I harbored hope for a distant friendship given his newfound understanding, his final selfish act shattered any possibility. I refused physical affection, a boundary I had articulated due to his past manipulation, only to have him disregard it entirely in a last-ditch attempt at romance. His disregard for my boundaries and emotions transformed my sorrow into anger and numbness. The realization that I had invested my prime years in someone who disregarded me completely left me grappling with newfound insecurities and trauma. Now, at 28, I find myself navigating the dating scene in a foreign country burdened by these scars. Relevant. Top comments. Commenter. How are you and your mom? It seems like you've left your home and family for him. Have you considered returning home? OP. My family and he are both in America. I departed for my own sake, pursuing my dreams and career. I'm grateful for the opportunity to return abroad, as I need distance from him and some time away from my mom, too. Commenter. Bravo, I'm incredibly proud of you for finally ending things with him. It's possible that his newfound understanding is just a form of gaslighting and manipulation. I understand that it's painful now, but with time, you will heal and emerge stronger. Don't concern yourself with dating at the moment. Focus on loving and nurturing yourself. Give yourself the same love, support, and understanding that you used to give him. You deserve it. I hope your therapy sessions are fruitful and help you rebuild your self-worth and intuition. I'm relieved to hear that you're taking steps towards a healthier, happier life. Okay, next story. My stepdad intentionally ruined my $900 prom dress by washing it. Is there any recourse, like pursuing legal action? I've never reached out here before, but I'm in desperate need of advice. I'm utterly distraught and unsure of what steps to take. I'm only 17 and uncertain if there's any legal recourse available to me. Here's some background. I reside with my biological mom and her husband, following my parents' separation. They were never married. Initially, I lived with my dad since the age of 2. He gained custody during a custody battle. However, he later lost custody due to a severe workplace accident that left him paralyzed, rendering him unable to care for me. Despite this, I still spend weekends and summers with him. I moved in with my mom, her husband, and their 2 sons, my stepbrother and half-brother, when I was 10. Since then, my stepdad has consistently conveyed, both directly and indirectly, that my presence has disrupted their lives, as I'm an additional responsibility for them to manage. I've been employed since 10th grade, diligently saving for my senior year and college since last year, using the earnings from my job. My mom and her husband informed me that my mom would only assist with essentials such as my graduation cap and gown, senior dues, and senior class photo. Everything else, including prom expenses, I would need to cover myself. I receive around $400 every 2 weeks from my job, which I've been saving in full. Additionally, I make extra money doing nails, about $100 a week plus tips, which I use as my spending money. With it being my senior year of high school, I've been eager to go all out for prom, so I allocated an $800 budget for my prom dress. Since prom is in April, I wanted to shop early, as the best dresses tend to sell out quickly. In December, I found a stunning dress priced at $890. It's a dark green gown with a long train, adorned with embedded rhinestones and glitter. When I showed my mom and stepdad the dress, they inquired about the cost. I disclosed the amount, and while my mom admired the dress and agreed it was beautiful, she expressed reluctance to pay for such an expensive garment. I assured her that I had more than enough saved to purchase it myself, with a total of $23,000 saved up, a fact known only to my mom. Ultimately, my mom agreed that I could buy the dress and even contributed $150 towards it. However, my stepdad adamantly opposed the purchase, deeming it irresponsible and a waste of money. He suggested I use the funds for more practical purposes, such as assisting the family financially or contributing to household bills. This stance seemed contradictory given that his sons own expensive items like PS5 consoles and multiple pairs of $200 plus shoes. Despite his objections, my mom supported my decision to buy the dress, emphasizing that I earned my money through hard work and that I already contribute financially to household expenses, including bills for services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Hulu, while my stepbrother, aged 18, does not contribute financially. Last Saturday, a significant disagreement erupted when my stepdad suggested I contribute financially to my stepbrother's prom expenses, which I firmly declined. In response, he labeled me selfish, arguing it was unfair for me to have an expensive outfit while my stepbrother didn't. In a moment of frustration, I retorted that it wasn't my child or my responsibility. When my stepdad attempted to complain to my mom, she sided with me, affirming that he should fund his son's prom himself. Today, upon awakening from a nap, I discovered my prom dress missing from the front of my closet. Upon inquiry, my stepdad admitted to having seen it and, to my horror, revealed he had decided to wash it. His demeanor, accompanied by a condescending smile, hinted at malicious intent. Rushing downstairs, I found my dress being subjected to the heavy-duty cycle, resulting in irreversible damage. The rhinestones had dislodged and the glitter had washed away, leaving the dress in ruins. Without hesitation, I discarded it into a trash bag and sought refuge at a friend's house, where we hung it outside to air dry, ensuring my stepdad couldn't shift blame onto them if he attempted to dry it in the machine. The deliberate act of ruining my dress serves as a clear indicator of his spitefulness, especially considering his usual reluctance to engage in household chores. With neither of them in a position to financially compensate for the loss, I feel at a loss for what to do. As I await my mom's return from work, my stepdad has attempted to contact me twice, but I have chosen not to respond. Meanwhile, my mom remains unreachable due to her work commitments. Update, 1 day later. Edit 1. I'm not sure how to add updates, so I'll just include an edit. My mom and I just got off the phone, and she's furious. She's on her way home, and my friend, her dad, and I are heading to my house. My mom mentioned she'd call the police as soon as she hangs up, so they might arrive before we do. We've documented everything with photos, and my uncle, my mom's brother, will be at our house by 8, as I reached out to him while he was at work. I've taken into account all your suggestions about withdrawing my money from my account, and I've discussed it with my dad, who agreed I can stay with him. Edit, Update 2. When I arrived home, my friend remained in the car while her dad escorted me inside, finding my stepdad already gone but police present. At present, the police indicated they couldn't arrest him since technically he didn't break any laws. He didn't steal the dress but merely damaged it. They advised pursuing a confession or taking him to small claims court. Unfortunately, the dress is non-refundable if damaged, so returning it isn't an option. As I explained the situation to my mom, I became emotional and began to cry. She comforted me with a hug and assured me that he would face consequences for his actions. This financial disagreement has been an ongoing issue, and my mom is livid. Additionally, I reached out to my uncle, who is now on his way over. He and my stepdad have a contentious history, further complicating matters. My uncle reassured me that everything would be okay and pledged to buy back the dress if necessary to ensure I have it for prom. However, he expects my stepdad to reimburse me eventually, so I might end up getting the dress for free. A small victory amidst the chaos. I'll likely provide further updates later tonight, but for now, things seem to be heading in a positive direction. Edit. To clear up some confusion, I cover the streaming service bills because I'm eager to watch the shows they offer, and my mom, though hard-working, doesn't earn enough to afford these extras. I volunteered to pay for them to ensure we could enjoy them. My mom isn't the type to prioritize her husband over me. She always defends me. He's never done anything like this before. His usual tactic is to try to persuade her to control my finances. Importantly, she's never touched my savings. I believe this fundamental difference in mindset is the root cause of their frequent clashes. He sees my savings as a solution to our financial troubles, while she respects my autonomy and the importance of my savings. Edit. Update 4. My uncle paid us a visit, and tensions escalated as he and my mom exchanged heated words. He blamed her for enabling my stepdad's behavior by not leaving him, suggesting it gave him a sense of impunity. However, my mom defended herself, asserting she always stood up for me and never touched my money, a fact she upheld. Amidst our discussion, my mom disclosed that their argument last night revolved around a car payment. She expressed frustration about the financial strain of our bills, to which he retorted that it wouldn't be a burden if she used my savings instead of allowing me to spend it recklessly. This ongoing issue evidently fueled his resentment. It emerged that he washed my dress as a form of punishment, believing I shouldn't have spent so much on a garment that could easily be ruined. He even admitted to intentionally using the heavy-duty setting to ensure its destruction. Their text exchange further exposed his motives. Fortunately, my uncle generously offered to replace the dress, alleviating my concerns about missing out on wearing it for my special occasion. We contacted the boutique, explaining the situation, and while a replacement won't be available until February 23rd, I'm content with the resolution. My mother sent my stepdad a lengthy, heated message, expressing her anger and issuing warnings. I'll try to obtain a screenshot later. Additionally, my parents discussed the situation and decided it would be best for me to have my own bank account to prevent my stepdad from using the excuse that my mom has access to my funds, which is a positive step forward. My mom and I had a conversation about what comes next, but she's overwhelmed and unsure at the moment. She's seriously considering leaving him, but she's not ready to discuss it actively right now. Meanwhile, my stepdad is currently staying at a friend's house. I'll continue to provide updates, possibly tomorrow. My friend's parents agreed to keep the dress at their house, and I'll retrieve it tomorrow as evidence. Edit. Update 5. My uncle generously transferred $1,000 to cover the cost of my prom dress, allowing me to replace it and buy new shoes. Given his financial stability, reaching out to him was a logical first step. I intend to contact the boutique to reorder the dress, aiming to pick it up sometime in February. However, the issue with my stepdad remains unresolved, and we're pushing for him to take responsibility in some form. With my permission, my uncle has reached out to other family members to share the situation, garnering sympathy and additional financial support totaling around $300. This outpouring of support is heartening. My mom has informed my stepdad's side of the family about the incident, accompanied by photos. While most are shocked, his mother seems to accept his claim that it was merely an accident. Nonetheless, I received a call from my stepdad's sister offering sympathy. Through these conversations, I learned that my stepdad has been leaning on his family for financial assistance due to his inability to manage his expenses. We recorded a conversation when my mom confronted my stepdad for answers, revealing his attempt to shift blame onto her, claiming he acted out of frustration from an argument the previous night. He argued that he intended to teach me a lesson about financial responsibility, planning to lecture me afterward. My mom decided to break up with him after he accused her of prioritizing me over him, a bizarre accusation that escalated into a heated argument, with her asserting her commitment to both of us. This incident served as the breaking point in their already rocky relationship, exacerbated by his financial mismanagement. Update, same day later. A lot has unfolded since we last spoke. Firstly, we've placed an order for my dress, and it's currently being shipped. It should arrive at the boutique by February 23rd, so that's sorted. My stepdad and mom are officially broken up, though my mom isn't sure about proceeding with divorce proceedings just yet due to the freshness of the situation and the financial constraints of hiring a lawyer. They have a prenup, so they don't share assets, and the house belongs to my mom, inherited from her father. She has a different father than her siblings who share one. My stepdad returned with his brother and attempted to make amends by purchasing a new dress from Macy's. Unfortunately, it looks nothing like the original and is rather tacky and unattractive. He then attempted to apologize, claiming he never intended to ruin the dress. Supposedly, he planned to wash it to illustrate the risks of buying expensive items, then buy me another dress. However, this explanation doesn't add up. When my uncle returned and confronted my stepdad about destroying the dress, a heated argument ensued, leading to a physical altercation in which my stepdad was overpowered. He threatened to involve the police, but was reminded that he initiated the fight. Afterward, he left, taking the dress with him. We're considering taking him to small claims court based on the evidence and damage caused. Currently, my stepdad is staying at his parents' house. Regarding my brothers, the 15-year-old half-brother was away at his girlfriend's house during the commotion but reached out to me today, showing his support. The 18-year-old stepbrother has sided with his dad. I've taken the advice to change the streaming service passwords, and my mom and I are planning to open a bank account for me later today. Thank you all for your support, and I'll continue to provide updates on our plans and the outcome. How do you like these stories? Write your opinion in the comments. Let's get 1,000 subscribers on this channel. Love you.